What is the difference of having freedom of speech in the USA, United States of America, and the Moorish Science Temple of America? What's the difference between the two? Like I said, Daniel kind of started that.
Yeah, yes, he did. Islam, and so camelbacking on basically what the brother was saying is that you in the Moorish Science Temple of America, like I said before, we have rules and regulations and laws that govern us as members. Islam, so you can't just take it upon yourself to just say anything. For instance, the Prophet told us that we don't use profanity even in the mildest form. Islam, so you can't be a Moor and be on television and every word that's coming out of your mouth is profane. Or you can't be on Facebook and every word that's coming out your mouth is profane. Islam? Because it makes us look bad. So there's a restriction right there that you can't use profanity even in the mildest form. Islam? Okay. Whereas in American culture, you can look at television any time of day and night and hear profanity all day long. Islam? But in the temple, it's not allowed. Islam? And so that's rules and regulations that we have, that we must go by, that we can't skirt. Islam?
Islam.
Peace.
MSTA, I'm going to tie this in a little so we can get a little bit more side-by-side contrast on that. More concrete. So what is the difference of having freedom of speech in the USA and of the MSTA of A? And if you can elaborate more on maybe a more concrete side by side, like you can't do this without this, or you can do this here and you can't do this here, if you can.
Well, the prophet says it like this in chapter 5. It says here that these tools remind me of the ones we handle in the workshop of the mind, where things are made of thought and where we build up character. And so the key word here is character. The character of a Moorish American is that you can't say what you want to say. There's consequences for your actions. You know, that's in life, period. You are held accountable for what you do and say. And so you can't go around saying anything. And as far as freedom of speech, we're living in a society today where it's cool to say what you want to say and to get provocative in your dress and you know, social media and different things. And society accepts this. So that would be, you know, an example of what society would consider as freedom of speech, freedom of dress. And here in the Moorish Science Temple of America, we don't do that. Our sisters wear turbans and they cover up. They don't wear tight fit clothing. So I'm using that demonstration as, you know, how our sisters dress, and, you know, in the Moorish Science Temple of America, and how they would say, would dress out in public, wearing leggings and things of that nature. So you can't dress how you want to dress. You can't say what you want to say. And those are some examples that I use.
Islam. All right. Rodney White L, what is the difference of having freedom of speech in the USA and the Moorish Science Temple of America? If you can give us one great example of a contrast, that'll be awesome. Between the
Islam. First and foremost, just because you have freedom of speech doesn't mean you have something to talk about. So in American or United States society, you have a lot of people that speak freely, but they have no knowledge of themselves. They have no standards to stand on or to represent. They have no profit or no movement to back them and support what they're saying. So in society, you will have somebody that's free to speak. He could speak against the government, the president, the flag, anything that he might put his mind to, but that's like a madman with a sword. Islam. Wow. In ours, this is a divine movement. So everything here comes from Allah through our prophet.
Islam.
You understand? So with that, our speech is dedicated towards confessing our own, by law teaching nationality and divine creed. This is our freedom. We have a right to do that, and the prophet gave us guidelines by how we are supposed to do these things in our speech. That's our only freedom. There is no freedom without our nationality and divine creed. There is no freedom without us speaking and telling the people what the prophet said. That's their key to freedom. That's what gives them their freedom of speech. But he specifically talks about speech and how we are to speak, when we speak, what manner we are to speak. Islam?
Islam.
So that's the difference, because this is a religious corporation and everything is already set. We don't have to come in and infuse any new speech or any new way of saying what the prophet said. All we have to do is just give them exactly what the prophet said.
Islam.
And speak according to that, and that's it.
Islam.
Thank you.
Islam. Damuel, because you already answered it, I have a spinoff for you on that same subject. Do you consider social media a place to demonstrate freedom of speech? Why and why not? And this will end this segment after he answers that.
Social media.
3 minutes starts now.
Thank you. Social media is a wonderful network. It can take you from an ordinary location of the world and take you clear across the universe. But in speaking of the problems that social media can cause, it can cause great divisiveness. It can shatter relationships. It can destroy the whole entire foundation of anything that was made pure and good and well. Here in the Moorish Science Temple of America, I said it earlier. Language can create, save, and destroy, but social media, that is an instrument that pushes it 1,000 times greater. So my suggestion is it good for a Moorish American to be on social media? I spoke with our minister, our Grand Sheik and Chairman, who, believes it or not, cares about his people. See, you got to understand this. And he understands being a Moorish American is a lonely thing. Can't you tell that we are so happy being amongst one another? So when we connect to a brother or sister on social media, we're not contacting them for play or fun. We just want to share to talk about the wonders of Allah's love. But when one is divisive and sinister, they'll take that same opportunity, hide behind somebody else's photo, hide behind someone else's name, and take it to a whole nother agenda. What I mean by that is, how do you know that person telling the truth? How do you know that person is even the individual that's speaking across the platform that you're listening to? You don't know. So as the minister educated many of us, he said, I don't like that social media because it can do what? Destroy the image of an organization that no one seems to know nothing about. So I will say no to social media if you're not in tune with the leadership. With that, I said peace.
Islam. Excellent. And that leads us to our third and powerful question, which again, Damuel has already given you a little bit of that answer to expound on, starting with Jackson Bay. How effective can freedom of speech be with our position with the public? How effective can freedom of speech be with our position with the public? Your 3 minutes starts now.
This is a good one. Islam.